Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 5 running back rankings for fantasy football in 2020. We are going to be discussing the top 32 running backs for week number 5 and discuss why I have them ranked where I do for week number 5 of the 2020 fantasy football season. So before I get into this video, if you guys do end up enjoying this video at all throughout it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 fantasy football championship. And real quick, before you hear the beautiful week 5 running back rankings, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is the best way to play daily fantasy football. Why is that? It's because it is the simplest way to play. Matchup Shop was created this year before the NFL season and has debuted this year, and it is the easiest way to make money in daily fantasy sports. How does it work? You're picking player versus player with the spread. Some matchups do not have the spread. So what does this mean? You're pretty much doing Patrick Mahomes versus Derek Carr. Who scores more fantasy points? Derek Carr plus 11 fantasy points or Patrick Mahomes minus 11? It is that simple to figure out. You do research all week long to figure out which fantasy players you want to start and sit. So why not play the most simple start-sit game here on OverlayDFS.com? Link down below in the description. And we are back. Make sure you guys check that out. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into it. Week 5 running back rankings. We begin here with running backs 1 through 12, and we are going to get right into it. At running back number 1, I have Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints going up against the LA Superchargers. Now, this is not only a great matchup for Kamara, but it's a great matchup for the New Orleans Saints. This is a Monday night football game where we are really going to be seeing how Justin Herbert really is as a quarterback. That may have nothing to do with Alvin Kamara, just something to note about the game. Now, the Chargers defense is pretty good, but Alvin Kamara is the centerpiece of this New Orleans Saints offense. Now, as of right now, on Saturday, we really have no fucking clue if Michael Thomas is going to play or not. I'd say it's probably a 50-50 shot. So, if Michael Thomas ends up playing, I like Alvin Kamara. If Michael Thomas doesn't end up playing, I like Alvin Kamara. Either way, this guy is a fucking beast, and on a weekly basis, it's very hard to, with all the injuries that have happened at the running back position, to rank Alvin Kamara outside of the top 5. And here, I got him as the number 1 running back on the week. At number 2, we have Dalvin Cook going up against the Seattle Seahawks, and while this Vikings offense has not looked very amazing, I would say their offense as a whole, the team as a whole, the Vikings are just absolutely fucking dick cheese. They cannot win a game if you paid them. I believe they won last week up against the Houston Texans, but the Houston Texans also can't win a game if you played them. So it was the bottom barrel matchup. And here they get the Seattle Seahawks, who are a team that have been laying an absolute whooping on other teams. And while they do that, this one is a game that I just feel like is going to be close. Typically, the Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks play pretty close to each other. Now, this is a primetime game for Kirk Cousins, which means he's not going to play that good, which means they probably have to run the ball a million times to avoid that from happening, the inevitable of him playing bad. And I think Dalvin Cook is in here for a good spot this week, very involved up against the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, we have Ezekiel Elliott going up against the New York Football Giants. Now, Zeke really did disappoint last week up against the Cleveland Browns, but that's just because they were down by 7 zillion points and had to throw into this game. They should be able to easily smack up the New York Football Giants and be able to run a lot in this game, so I like Zeke at number 3. At number 4, we have CEH, aka Clyde Edwards-Helaire, going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, CEH hasn't been all that amazing so far this season. Now, I'm not saying he's like a garbage can or a shit fucking player, but in reality, just hasn't been amazing. But not like you drafted him to be like a top 5 running back. But this week, up against the Raiders, I think that this one's going to be one where the Raiders are able to keep it close, and the Chiefs are going to try to run the clock out in this game. And I think that CEH is going to be pretty solid in this game. At number 5, we have Derrick Henry going up against the Buffalo Bills at home in Tennessee. Now, I really have no idea if this game is going to be played. I assume it is going to be played, and I assume if this game is played like normal, the Tennessee Titans will try to run the ball up against the Buffalo Bills. Their corners are amazing. That secondary is amazing, but we have seen teams run quite well up against that Bills defense, so I think Derrick Henry will be a vital piece of this offense as long as the game plays. Got him as number 5 for the running back position. At number 6, we have Kareem Hunt going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, after Nick Chubb has fallen and he cannot get up up like that grandma in those TV ads. Kareem Hunt here is going to be balling out of control. That Indianapolis Colts defense is pretty good, but I still think Kareem Hunt is involved both in the pass-catching game as well as in the rushing game here to kick the ever-living shit out of the Indianapolis Colts and put up a solid game here for Kareem Hunt. At number 7, we have Mike Davis, Fat Mike, going up against the Atlanta Falcons of the Carolina Panthers. Now, this matchup screams 7 zillion points going on the board. Teddy Two Gloves versus Matty Ice. Mike Davis has been balling the fuck out of control the last couple of weeks when Christian McCaffrey has been out, and the Atlanta Falcons defense could not stop you. That Atlanta Falcons defense is about as useful as a broken condom, and Mike Davis is going to be the kid that inevitably comes out of that scenario. So, Mike Davis going to fuck him raw, do him dirty. The Dirty Birds gonna die from a brutal fuckage from Mike Davis. At number 8, we have James Robinson up against the Houston Texans. Now, James Robinson hasn't been as amazing as I thought he would be the last couple of weeks, but here he gets the Houston Texans, where Dalvin Cook last week did a slicing and dicing like fruit fucking ninja on that Houston Texans defense. I think James Robinson is going to be able to do the same up against the Bill O'Brien-less Houston Texans. At number 9, we have Josh Jacobs going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Josh Jacobs has not been the same running back he was week 1. Week 1, he laid a absolute dump. A dump so good, Odell Beckham Jr. would have liked it on whoever they played week 1. They're escaping my brain. But now, against the Chiefs, he's going to put up a solid game. I don't expect an amazing game out of Josh Jacobs, though, because he hasn't done it recently. But that doesn't mean I'm bought out on Josh Jacobs. I do think he's in for a bounce-back game here. And this is probably the spot. Got him inside the top 10 at running back number 9. And number 10, we have David Johnson going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, David Johnson hasn't been all that good as well since week number 1. He sliced and diced his way through the Kansas City Chiefs and just hasn't looked that great the last couple of weeks. But now he gets an amazing spot up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is going to be a certified barn burner where they have gotten rid of the dumbass who may have been causing them to run David Johnson up the middle 7 million times. Maybe now they'll give him a pitch or a run to the outside where he can gash that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I love him in this game up against that not-so-hot Jaguars defense. At number 11, we have Chris Carson going up against the Minnesota Vikings at home in Seattle. Chris Carson is a locked and loaded top 12 back when he's healthy. He has shown that this year, plain and simple. Gotta lock this guy in the top 12 going up against the Minnesota Vikings defense, which is not all that good. At number 12, we have a guy who's been really disappointing again. There's been a kind of a pattern in the top 12, at the back half of the top 12, I should say, of guys who have disappointed you the last couple of weeks since week 1. Jonathan Taylor hasn't been all that hot, but here it's time for the man's not hot bounce back game of the week going up against the Cleveland Browns. This is his bounce back spot against the Cleveland Browns. Now, this one is going to be close. The Vegas line right now has it as a pick'em. What that means is that there's not even a fucking spread on this game because Vegas believes this game is so close. You can't even take the spread. It is just a straight up pick 'em at -110. And I think Jonathan Taylor here is going to be in for a game where he's getting touches on the ground as well as through the air. I think that this is finally the week where we see Jonathan Taylor do much better. Now on to running backs 13 through 24. So we're about 7-ish, 8-ish minutes into this video. That has to be enough for you to have enjoyed the video. If you're new, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're not new, you're just having a great time, make sure you hit that fucking like button. I would really appreciate it. At running back 13, we have KD, Kenyon Drake, going up against the New York Football Jets in Gotham. Speaking about used condoms before, Kenyon Drake might be about as worth to your fantasy team as a used condom because Kenyon Drake hasn't done shit this season. It's bad, but this week he gets the Jets, so if he can't do it this week, last week he had a soft matchup, played terrible. This week, he has an even softer matchup up against the New York Football Jets. If he does not do it this week, I'm hitting this guy with the KD step back fucking 3 off my team. This is embarrassing. If Kenyon Drake can't play good against the Jets, he just has to. This is the perfect scenario for him to do good. He would probably be a top 5 running back ranked on this week if he hasn't sucked a fat wee-wee the last couple of weeks. So, with that said, KD, Kenyon Drake at running back 13. Number 14, we have the guy who I clapped my hands about like Jason Garrett last week when Joe Mixon put on a show. The greatest show on turf-esque performance last week. Now he gets the Baltimore Ravens. So this is about a come-down spot. He was on fire. He was snorting rails of coke. And then after you do coke, apparently, I wouldn't know, winky face. I don't actually do coke. But with that said, you typically come down like 15 minutes later. This is going to be a come down next week later type deal here for Joe Mixon. He was higher than Elon Musk. Now he's calmed down. Now this week against the Ravens is a tough matchup, so I don't expect him to be fucking the shit out of a defense. I expect this to be more of a tame game, but I do expect him to not put up the fucking 8 points he was putting up weeks before. At number 15, we have Miles Sanders going up against the Steel Curtain in Pittsburgh. Now, this is what we would describe as an impossible matchup for a running back. Now, Miles Sanders is involved in the pass-catching game. The fact that they have no wide receiver options ups Miles Sanders' point total, but I don't expect, and I don't want you to expect, anything big here up against the Steel Curtain. Even the better running backs in the league, for example, week 1, the Giants went up against the Steelers, and Saquon Barkley legitimately seemed like he had negative 50 rushing yards because of how good this Steelers defensive line is. At number 16, we have TG Todd Gurley going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, interesting enough, Todd Gurley is better than what I thought he was. Now, what I thought he was going to be, actually, no, that's a fucking lie, because what I thought he was going to be this season is pretty much what he is. Just a safe player that has really no upside, because Todd Gurley just doesn't, for some reason, score over like 15 points. He's just a safe 10-plus points on a weekly basis because they're always down by so many fucking points that they just can't run the ball. And I'm not too sure Todd Gurley's knee can take a zillion carries a game. So with that said, I think Todd Gurley is in for a solid game here up against the Panthers. Nothing special, but nothing terrible. So at the end of the day, I like Todd Gurley. At number 17, we have Jerick with 1R McKinnon going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, this ranking right here is strictly based on Raheem Mostert not playing. If Raheem Mostert plays, you take Jerick McKinnon out of there, you fucking cut him out, and you put Raheem Mostert right in that spot at 17. The Miami Dolphins defense isn't amazing. This is a good matchup for them, so I like him at 17. I don't see an amazing game out of him, especially since Jerick has been so good that I don't think he just gets eviscerated out of there. Again, they use this running back by committee system in San Francisco, so Jerick and the other guys get carries, right? So that does kind of hurt Mostert when he's healthy. So I think that if Jerick is there, he actually probably has more upside without Mostert playing than Mostert would have with Jerick McKinnon and friends there. So I think I like Jerick McKinnon here at 17 if Mostert doesn't play. But if Mostert plays, he's probably ranking around a similar spot from like 17, I'd say, to like 23. At number 18, we have Melvin Gordon going up against the New England Deflatriots in New England. Now, I believe this game is slated to be Tuesday Night Football. Pretty weird, but hey, still football on another day that's not fucking Thursday, Sunday, or Monday, so that's pretty cool. Melvin Gordon here, not an amazing spot. Phillip Lindsay expected to play, so I don't expect too much out of Melvin Gordon. But again, after Melvin Gordon, it's kind of a shit show. After running back 16, I would say, it's kind of like a smorgasbord of guys that could be really good. Kind of confusing kind of player. So at 18, that's where I got Melvin Gordon. At number 19, we have, just kidding, Joshua Kelly, JK. Get it? At the New Orleans Saints. Now, Austin Eckler, Mr. Clean, has fallen, and he cannot get up. He ends up getting hurt. He ends up getting whacked like Tony Soprano at the end of the show. So Joshua Kelly here is in a scenario where he could do good, could do bad. I feel like he's a safe running back too, but there's definitely players behind him with a little bit more upside. And number 20, speaking of upside, we have Antonio Gibson going up against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, any running back going up against Aaron Donald is probably shitting himself going up to the game. Now, I'm very confused how Dwayne Haskins isn't the starter in this game. They bring in Kyle Allen. Obviously, Riverboat fucking ran, brought him in from Carolina. When Cam went down, Kyle Allen was the guy in Carolina. Now he's the starter in Washington with Riverboat Ron. So I have really no clue what to think here. Antonio Gibson's on a roll. He's been scoring touchdowns. He's been gobbling them. He's been swallowing them like he's in the fucking WAP that Cardi B sings. So with that said, Antonio Gibson, I like him this week, but I don't love him because that Rams defense scares me, and I'm sure it scares Antonio Gibson as well. At number 21, we have James Conner going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm very concerned about some of these Steelers players because I really have no idea how they're feeling, right? They have a bye week 4, which shouldn't have been a bye, but was their bye. How ready are they? I don't know. I really don't know how this one's going to go. I mean, James Conner's definitely a safe play on a weekly basis. When he's healthy, you got to fucking play him. So he's ranked as a running back too. But I'm a little bit more cautious on this one for the Pittsburgh Steelers side, considering they're off a week that they shouldn't have really have had off. At number 22, we have Devin Singletary going up against the Tennessee Titans. This one is the case of Zach Moss being somewhat healthy and playing, then Devin Singletary is fine. But if Zach Moss seems like he's 100%, Devin Singletary needs to get the fuck out of your lineup, because the problem with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss is that they just eat into each other's production. When both of them are out there, you pretty much want none of them. So with that said, if Zach Moss is 100% good to go, sit Singletary. If not, you can put him in here as a top 22 running back. Number 23, we have my main man, Carol Gaskin. That bitch, Carol Gaskin, a.k.a. Myles Gaskin. Talking about Carol Baskin over there, if you didn't get it, the Tiger King, if you guys watched that. San Francisco 49ers going up against there this week. Shout out to Pat Mayo for the Carol Gaskin thing. I didn't come up with that myself. I heard him say it on his show. I love that guy. Much respect to him. Up against the San Francisco 49ers here. The Dolphins are going to be looking to use Gaskin more. Gaskin kind of didn't get the correct usage last week. I think the coaches realized that. Brian Flores is a very smart coach, in my opinion. He'll realize that they need to get the ball more in Gaskin's hand. Here up against the 49ers, sure, it is a tougher matchup, but not as tough as it would have been had the 49ers be 100% healthy in this game. So I think Gaskin should be fine. Definitely a lower-end running back 2 on the week. And for 24, we have James White going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, James White is a safe player on a weekly basis when he's playing. Good for 10-plus PPR points. Now, last week, he played excellent after returning from the absence he had due to family matters. Obviously, something happened to his family. Someone passed away. Very sorry for James White, obviously. But he returned, played quite well here up against the Denver Broncos. I think he should be in for another solid game here. Probably the safest option here besides Antonio Gibson and James Conner at this range from 19 to 24. Now on to running backs 25 through 32. So you've made it this far again. If you haven't fucking subscribed yet, please make sure you do that. I would really appreciate it. I love you, everyone who's still here. I love you. Thank you guys very much. The support means everything to me. At running backs 25 through 32, we begin with Damian Harris going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, Damian Harris doesn't catch shit in the pass-catching game, obviously, because James White is there. But it did not seem to matter because Damian Harris still got 100 yards in his debut game coming off the IR. This man was balling out of control, and here up against the Denver Broncos defense. I think he has some high upside, though. Running back number 25 on the week. At number 26, we have Darrell Henderson going up against the Washington football team in Washington. After Damian Harris here, we are in a complete and utter hellhole at the running back position. I really have no idea what to do with these guys because Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers is coming back. Probably a very shit situation for him, but he could finish well up against the Washington football team. So that's why I've got him at 26. At 27, we have Mark Ingram going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this guy could be a top 10 running back, or he's going to finish as like the fucking running back 40 on the week because Mark Ingram is either going to do everything or do nothing. This Baltimore Ravens running back core is so confusing. The only running back you can start there is Lamar Jackson. So Mark Ingram, I have no idea what to think about him because one week he's going to be giving back shots to the defense. The next week, he's doing nothing. He's sitting on the bench like a cuck watching the fucking game. So I have no idea what to do with Mark Ingram, if I'm being honest with you. At 28, we have Nyheim Hines up against the Cleveland Browns. Should be a back and forth affair, which puts positive game script for Nyheim Hines where they have to dump the ball off because it seems like they just don't want to use Jonathan Taylor in that scenario. At 29, we have Malcolm Brown up against the Washington football team. Might be him as well, just barreling into the end zone. So he gets a top 29 rating on the week, but I don't love him. Anyone after running back 25, I really have no fucking clue about, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's how it is every week, though. At number 30, we have Latavius Murray going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Some weeks, Latavius Murray vultures Alvin Kamara. Some weeks, Latavius Murray somehow scores 15 points. So that's why he's inside the top 30. For that upside, at 31, we have Chase Edmonds up against the New York Football Jets. An amazing matchup. Kenyon Drake, if he starts sucking fucking hog again, maybe Chase Edmonds gets involved. So that's why he's in here at 31. And number 32, we have Devontae Freeman up against the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World. No real rhyme or reason for his top 32 ranking other than the fact that the Dallas defense legitimately is awful. And maybe he does good again. He had 10 points last week. Maybe he improves, gets 11 this week. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I love each and every single one of you motherfuckers. And I'll see you guys in just a little bit with wide receiver rankings for this week. Sorry for the kind of delay of uploads on Friday. I was working on a paper, very fucking busy. Moved houses as well. Obviously, you might be like, Nick, the background's the exact same. I know. We've had this house for a little bit, but our house sold. I had to move a bunch of stuff, so I've been very busy. But now, I'm locked and loaded in. From here on out, I'll see you motherfuckers later with another video, and I'll see you guys Sunday as well. I hope you guys come and join me for the live stream on Sunday. We always have a great time there. I love you all. Much respect to anyone who's still here. OverlayDFS.com. Peace out. Tyreek Hill style. Goodbye.